I didn't set out to make this vlog. I was working on another one that has been in the works for quite some time, and I need to do a bunch of stuff between now and Christmas and etc., etc. But I had to jump in when I saw that Gisburne2000 had disappeared. And coming so close on the heels of my response to Superlunary's temporary disappearance, I don't want to end up repeating myself. Issues of things that of YouTuber suicide and what we owe to the people that the strangers that we send our messages out to. I don't want to even get into any of that. Because Gisburne2000 was all about atheism. And I had just stuck my 2 cents into this discussion, this YouTube discussion of atheism, fundamentalist Christianity, blasphemy, all these issues, Christmas. And Gisburne2000 was one of the people, perhaps the main one, who I thought perhaps I might someday be having a back and forth with about this. And now he's gone. And under circumstances that I have to say are a little bit troubling. He didn't say, guys, so long. He just kind of went, leaving a note. It's remarkably impersonal as far as the larger YouTube community. In fact, I'm looking right at it. It's on his site, or on what's left of his channel. What am I trying to say here? It does not seem to me, Gisburne, that you simply went away in a very casual sort of way. Oh, Jesus, this isn't what I wanted to say either. What am I trying to say here? I hope you will come back and become a different YouTuber, the same you, but I'm going to jump around. I'm going to really try not to edit this and just stumble my way through it. You were without a doubt the most clear and focused atheist vlogger on YouTube that I had seen. And your motives for your vlogs were kind of suppressed. You didn't talk about them, or when you did, you sort of raised more questions than you answered, and now the way you've gone away has just reinforced that sense of question begging. Specifically, when you originally, one of your vlogs, you said you were talking to other atheists. You weren't trying to convert anybody, which immediately, made me say, well, okay, but, do atheists need to have these arguments restated and clarified for themselves, or to use against Christians, and I think you certainly acknowledge then and acknowledge in your going away letter here that that's kind of useless, because the vast majority of Christians are impervious to the arguments against belief in Christianity that any atheist can offer. I think that the Christians who give up their beliefs and become atheists do so for emotional reasons rather than because technically it's true. That's a safety valve for ignoring the incredible emotional issues that are wrapped up in modern day organized or any kind of Christianity. And certainly, I mean, let's not even get into Islam, and let's not try to drag Buddhism into it either at this point. This is a war between empirical observation and Christian nonsense. Not really Christian faith, but Christian nonsense. Because it is not simply that these Christians who are the antagonists, let's not call them enemies, but the antagonists in this intellectual debate, if it is an intellectual debate, it isn't really their faith that is the problem, if you'll follow me with this. It is that they don't really believe anything that is sensical. They believe nonsense, and they think they have a counter rationality and an alternate version of seeing things for what they are, when in fact it's embarrassingly easy to blow up their most basic arguments, starting with the idea that they take the Bible seriously and study it. I mean, certainly for fundamentalist Christians, the so-called Bible study is really Bible rewriting. It's a system whereby you drill into the heads of the believers that now when you read the word red here, you think banana. I mean, it's just nonsense. All these comments that I've seen about the atheists, when they go into all the crazy stuff that's in the Bible, they're taking it out of context. Well, no. Or if you're serious about that, and not you, Gisburn, but the people who use this kind of argument, what's this context that we're taking it out of? I mean, tell me. It's maddening. It's maddening. I understand that part of what you were up to, but I'm completely losing any kind of argumentative through line here, because my basic nature is dragging me away from why I started to write this to do this vlog, which is basically to talk to you at this last second as you disappear, because I thought that I would be talking to you in the future, and now you're putting that into doubt. And the when I read this little note that you left behind, it's funny, because basically the first thing that I was going to ask you is what you've raised here. There is more to life than making videos about atheism. Okay. That was one of the things that I was going to bring up if I sent you a video response, was like, what's else is going on with Gisburne2000? What's with that Spice Girls merchandise you happen to let us see? Do you have a pet wombat? You know, to me, I just did two videos that touched on atheism and belief and all this kind of stuff, more or less at random because of the time of the year and because of something that Violet Kitty put out that just kind of got me agitated, and because of the blasphemy challenge, which I'd really like to talk more about. But about you. I mean, you're so smart, and you go to such and you went to such lengths to make your videos. You wrote them out ahead of time and read them. My whole goal in vlogging is to try to see if I can vomit up something that's of value without prior planning, and you can see how well that's working for me. I wanted to know more about you, and I want to know more. I'm extremely happy that there are so many atheists on YouTube. When I came to YouTube, I wasn't looking for atheism. It just kind of found me on the and I was and it was such a relief to see so many human faces denying the nonsense of supernatural Christianity, because here in the U.S., supernatural Christianity has made a huge roaring comeback over the last 25 years, which now that I'm 48, 25 years does not seem like that long a time to me. I can very easily remember when supernatural Christianity seemed to be on the ropes, and when I was a kid and started thinking, you know, around the age of 10, when I consider myself to have developed the first brain that I could call, you know, semi-adult in my reasoning and thinking, there was never a doubt in my head that this was all nonsense, and you know, everything I saw reinforced that, and you know, Christianity was in an ebb tide toward ethical, non-supernatural philosophy, it seemed. Of course, I was naive. I was 10 years old, and you know, I stayed naive for quite a bit longer. But the thing that I carry away from that childhood as a person who does not, and I want to make this clear because I think I'm going to do more blogs about belief and atheism and all that sort of thing, and it may seem to some people who don't listen closely, or if I don't communicate well, it may seem to some people that I am like leaving that I'm either a believer or that I'm leaving some kind of weird wiggle room for what most Christians think of as God to actually exist, and I am not. There's not only no doubt in my mind that such a being does not exist, and that Jesus, although I think it's lame to imagine that there was never a person named Jesus, which is one of the issues that's, you know, playing around on YouTube right now. But although I believe that, I believe Jesus died like anyone else, and not only that, but died many, many years before Christianity was formed. You know, Nietzsche, the dreaded Nietzsche, who is supposed to appeal to the most loathsome egomaniacs of society, and who has been tarred with the brush of Hitler, and who said or wrote, "God is dead." Actually put it in the mouth of a madman or possibly a holy fool. And also wrote that in all likelihood the last true Christian died on the cross. He also said, he who fights too long against dragons becomes a dragon himself. And God, how long can I go on talking when I'm trying to trying to say something very precisely? It's just not in me. I can't do the short, pithy philosophical statement. What I am trying to say is I am concerned about the atheist community, because I want the atheist community to get their feet on the ground and be able to stand up to the fundamentalist Christian community. So in that sense, things like the Blasphemy Challenge and your constant videos, pointing out all the complete nonsense. And I would like to do some too. I mean, there are a bunch of points that may have been made, but I haven't heard yet, that I would like to make, that are very important to me, and very important to the belief that I have, that although you technically can't prove a negative, you can certainly prove that Christianity as practiced by, let me leave out the qualifiers, that Christianity is nonsense, that you really actually can't be a Christian, because what you profess to believe is self-contradictory. But I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm trying to veer myself back to the point that I'm trying to make, which is that, to me, atheism is a first step. It's, going around proclaiming yourself an atheist is like, going around telling everyone, I'm a breather. I'm a breather. Guys, I breathe air, man. I need air. Air is necessary. I breathe, man. Did you know that I am a breather? Are you a breather? It only makes sense in a mind full of toxic gas. As you're going down for the count, you go, I need air. Okay, in this world of George Bush's America, I can see the reason for that. But atheism is just like so not something to build your whole life around, and that's okay. You're leaving. I personally, finding out, because I'm fairly new to YouTube. I've only been on for, probably 3 months or whatever. I'm finding out that it really bothers me when people who got on just go away and say, I'm leaving. No matter how much and you haven't denied that this is emotionally hinky for you, that there's something more to this than just some kind of rational, time value study that you did. What happened? I want to know. But also, more to the point, if this isn't just another bad substitute for wasting my time sitting out in the other room in front of the television set, if it's something more. And I speak as a person who got onto YouTube because, among other things, I fell out over the last 2 decades. I gradually, and I was never Mr. Social. I was always a troubled loner. But I've never been a social person. I've always had a very tiny group of friends, and a number of 2 out of 3 of my closest friends went on to sensible lives, while I continued to muddle around in the bizarro alternate universe of filmmaking. And I don't have a lot of people to talk to, and I'm not good at it. I'm not very successfully interpersonal, not because I hate people or because I think they're dumb or something. I just don't know how. I don't have interpersonal intelligence because of either flukes of biology or flukes of the way I grew up, which I may get to in future blogs if I ever get to the stuff that I was planning, instead of doing things like this in reaction. And so when I first got on here, I said to myself, well, maybe I'm going to get off pretty quickly, What if I get a bunch of haters? Who needs that? So I went on for another 10 minutes and then discovered that Final Cut Pro had stopped capturing because the battery had died on my camera. So somebody is trying to tell me something. Gisburne, if you have it in you, don't leave. Just talk about other things. Be part of this experiment. It's all supposed to be about experimentation. It's all supposed to be about the human experience. Come back, come back. Don't make me resubscribe to Brett Keane.